fun, sweet, refreshing, and just full of energy and passion. Here in Canada, in Vancouver specifically, there's so many bubble tea shops. The specific square in Richmond is called Diabetes Square. Let's do another cheers to kick off the heart of the episode, where I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions to dig into Suna's life.
Growing up in sort of competitive Asian culture, I was kind of actively discouraged to pursue creative career, but I want to have like a unique combination of biology and design.
I truly still have a long way to go. Every single day I'm like, oh my god, I'm getting old.
It always made me feel guilty that if I don't pursue science degree, I'm wasting it. Every single profession has so much potential.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and welcome to the True podcast. Yes, this is my first ever episode of the True podcast. Welcome. This is going to be a safe space for cozy, honest conversations about all things creativity, identity, brand, and staying true to yourself, to your voice, and to your story. And the name True actually comes from something that I say all the time. And many of my friends have pointed out to me that whenever someone says something that really hits me right in the heart, I always respond with true. And that is my way of saying I hear you and I feel you. So this podcast is really just an extension of that, a space where I invite guests to have a conversation. We can listen deeply, reflect together, and maybe realize that even though we all come from different walks of life, we are all figuring things out in our own way. And I want you as a listener, a viewer, to feel heard and seen, and to find things relatable or things that you feel resonated with in our stories. So grab your favorite bubble tea and settle in, and let's get right into it. So today's first ever episode means a lot to me because I'm joined by someone who's been part of my life since 2018. I know she's not here, but I'm going to do a super cool transition. So here we go. 3, 2, 1. Yay! Hello. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, get comfortable. And then this is our emotional support. I named it Truebit because it's a rabbit. And we're here at the True podcast, so you can hold it and then make yourself comfortable. Okay. It's very soft. My mom actually made the sweater for Truebit. Yeah. So, how are you feeling today?
I'm good. I'm very good.
I'm very glad that you're here with me. I kind of want to just give a little intro background to the listeners to how we've met and just get a little background of our friendship. So this is Suna. We met in first year of university at a school residence. We weren't just floor mates. In fact, we were bathroom mates. So for those of you who don't know, we had single connected rooms, and we were connected by a bathroom. That's why we were bathroom mates. Yeah. And so literally sharing a bathroom. And some of my favorite memories were our late night deep chats inside that tiny little bathroom. We would be talking about our future plans and what we want to do in the future. Lots of good times. Yeah, so, and we've also been there for each other's big milestones too. We've been there for each other's graduations and more importantly, Suna's wedding in 2022. And I was very happy that I was invited and I get to witness your very important moment in your life. Yeah, it was a wonderful wedding. I really loved it. And now here we are years later, living in the future, walking different paths, but we're still talking about our future plans and dreams and what we want to achieve in life. So I'm very glad that we still kept in touch and we've gotten even more closer last year.
Yeah.
Thanks to Suna always reaching out and inviting me out to things, because me, as kind of like an introvert, I always kind of tend to wait for my friends to reach out to me. But Suna, I'm very grateful to have you in my life. So, and I'm also very proud for you to become who you are today, and I'm excited for you to share your story to my viewers and listeners. So in this episode, I want to talk about kind of creative journey, identity shifts, creative courage, and what it means to stay true to your voice even as it changes. Sometimes you don't always stick with one path, and things happen, and then you have different ideas and different aspirations, and then it's not always the same. If it's always the same, then it's just you're staying stagnant. So life is all about changes. So I'm excited to hear about the changes happening in your life and how you navigate through different life changes. So, but before we dive in, I have a little something for you.
Okay.
So one of my favorite part of this podcast is picking out a bubble tea for my guest. I picked a mango slush with fresh mango, jelly, white pearls, and jasmine green tea jelly. I hope you liked it, because TMI, Suna's very sensitive to caffeine. So I chose a kind of like a fruit slushy, and you love fruit smoothies, and the weather is it's not too hot, but it's kind of hot. I guess it's good for a slushy drink and has various different toppings. So I hope you like it. Here's a little bamboo straw. It's not paper straw. Perfect. And then for myself, I got myself a camellia oolong milk tea with crystal pearls.
Nice.
Yes.
Very elegant choice.
Yes. Okay, awesome.
Yes.
Cheers.
Best mango slush ever had.
Really?
Because usually mango slushies are all just mango. But then this one's like with a little bit of tea. So I really like the flavor.
Great. It has like little jasmine tea jelly. So it's like little to no caffeine. So you should have no problem falling asleep. I'm glad you like it. And let me explain a little bit of a reasoning to why I chose this drink. First of all, the color, it matches with your jacket. It's so bright, so it gives off of like a super bright, vibrant energy. Every time I hang out with you, you're so bubbly and full of passion. So this drink literally reminds me of you, and it has various different textures. Like the pearls, white pearls are chewy, and the mango bits is like very fresh. And there's like the green tea jelly is kind of like chewy as well. So lots of textures and things to explore, very adventurous, just like you are. And you're very good at, a lot of different things. So it's just like this drink. It has so much, and each of the single topping tastes so good. But all together, it's amazing. So I feel like this really symbolizes who you are. Fun, sweet, refreshing, and just full of energy and passion.
Thank you.
I hope you like it, and I hope you think this kind of represents you a little bit. And yeah, how do you feel about this drink?
I really, really love it.
Oh my god, I'm very glad that you like this drink. But I was like 99% sure that Suna's gonna love it, because I just know it's mango slush, fruity, and
we had so many meals together, drinks together.
Yeah, so I kind of know what your taste is like. Nice.
Yeah.
Great, you're welcome. So, and a little segment about this bubble tea metaphor. So, I've been thinking a lot about bubble tea, and there's so many bubble tea shops out there. It's getting so saturated, and the competition, even here in Canada, in Vancouver specifically, there's so many bubble tea shops. The specific square in Richmond is called Diabetes Square. Every single almost like month there's a new bubble tea shop, right? And especially in China too, there's so many competitions now. So in the world full of bubble tea, like which one is the one that really stands out? There are different, I guess, elements to it. First is like the flavor. Does it taste good? Do people love the flavor? And then there's also branding. How do they brand their own bubble tea brand? And then there's also kind of the in-store experience. Are they trying to position themselves as Starbucks, like walking in, feel the whole experience? They call out your name and make the user or customer experience good? Or which kind of which aspect are they trying to focus and target their target audience? So I think it's same as how we experience people. So when we meet someone new, the first off impression is kind of like how we view them, and it's kind of like how they present themselves, how they brand themselves. And then as we go into deeper conversations, then we truly taste their flavors. Is it just one single flavor? How many different flavors do they actually represent? So we dig deep and then we feel the connection. It's kind of like well-rounded. So that's how I came up with this bubble tea metaphor in each of the episodes. I want to kind of invite my guests and then choose a bubble tea that I think represent my view for them. And just to kickstart the conversation and dive deep into their personal stories and how they view themselves as well. That's the segment that's going to come later, that I'm going to be asking Suna to think of a bubble tea that represents herself. So yeah, that's kind of how I wanted to bring in bubble tea into my podcast.
I love it.
You love it?
The idea.
Nice.
So good.
Yeah, and then nowadays, who doesn't love bubble tea? It's like a must. Every time we hang out too, it's like, do you want to get bubble tea after? Or mostly me. I guess you don't really drink that much bubble tea, but you're always down for bubble tea too.
I think for me, because I'm sensitive to caffeine, and like bubble tea, mostly like it has tea as a base, and I think that's why I haven't tried many bubble tea places, but like I'm always down.
Because there are limited options for the flavors that you can choose.
Yeah, but now I think like actually this kind of opens my horizon, to be honest, because I always thought like a mango pomelo is like the best. So like, cause that's the best I can get, or lychee. So I always get those two, but like I never thought it could be possible for me to enjoy, because I do enjoy the tea, like
tea
flavor and like the scent. But like I'm sensitive to coffee, and I'm like, whoa, this is really perfect.
I also shout out, this is from Sun Tea. There are multiple locations in Vancouver Lower Mainland.
Nice.
And since you mentioned mango pomelo, next time, have you tried Maku tea? Next time we have to go to Maku. They have the best mango pomelo drinks. The best, because they use fresh mango, and I really love their mango drinks too. Next time we gotta try that. Okay, awesome. So let's do another cheers to kick off the heart of the episode, where I'm gonna ask you a bunch of questions to dig into Suna's life. Okay. So let's trace things back a little. Where did your creative or professional journey begin? So regarding school and education, where did you study in undergrad?
So I have this one. I think in terms of just general passion for like art, craft, and fashion, like all these creative things, like I think it already started from my young age. Like I always wanted to like learn more about it and stuff like that. But you know, like growing up in sort of competitive Asian culture, I was kind of actively discouraged to pursue creative career, but rather like focus on the academics, because it's more important. And people always told me like, oh, you can do it as a hobby, and therefore like, and I was already quite interested in like psychology and neuroscience and whatnot. So I was like, okay, let's do neuroscience. And then I'm really thankful that I got in, and I don't regret studying neuroscience, because that's something like you can sort of only learn in depth in like a school setting, I guess. So I know I'm was privileged to have the major, and then because UBC has the joint program of like a bachelor and the master of management, and so I did business management. So like when I decided to change my path kind of to the creative path, a lot of people questioned my decisions, and they're like, what? Like, you did neuroscience and business and now you're doing what? Like they kind of, and
I have a question. When you applied for neuroscience, so you applied it with a master program altogether, right? When you were in high school, it was like a joined thing. You knew you were gonna do a undergrad in neuroscience, and then right after you're gonna be doing a master in management.
In my case, it was a little bit different because I think generally for science faculty, like first year is all the same. Like we take all the requirement, and then at the end of first year, based on your like performance, then you get to submit 3 top choices. Then they will like determine.
Right.
But in my first year, I did science one, so I did like bio general major as first year, and then as the joint one.
Right.
Yeah.
And when you decided you wanted to do neuroscience and then what did you dream of becoming? What was your ideal job?
Back then, like, I don't know if you did that too, but for my cohort, like they asked us to do video, like introductory video, a minute and a half of why we're applying for and what we want to achieve like with this combined degree. And recently I watched it again. It was a little cringe. It's a little cringe. But then I was quite surprised because I actually included that I wanted to study, like, I want to have, like, a unique combination of biology and design and making it into a business, like, something like that. So I was quite pleasantly surprised that I didn't lose the design aspect, even when I was kind of pursuing a science degree for sure. So, yeah, I don't remember the details, to be honest, but it was kind of interesting to see.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool that you were able to look back at the video that you made and then still feel a bit connected to the dream that you had before.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then you were talking about how people were surprised about the switch.
Yeah, because my, like, each of the, I mean, until my year, I think the cohort was fairly small. It's like within less than 100 people per year. And most people in neuroscience, like, very competitive, and they grew up in competitive sort of family background as well. And therefore, it's like at least 1/3 of them going to pursuing med school. The other ones, like 1/3 going to research. Like, so they'll go to like master's, PhD, and then professor, aiming for professor. And the other track is like somewhat miscellaneous, but still in science. For example, there are little few people considering neuro law, so they wanted to go to law school.
That's pretty cool.
And stuff like that. And so it was like quite obvious, like the tracks are all chosen and limited, and everyone was kind of expecting me to
follow one of the 3.
And at first I was thinking about becoming neurosurgeon.
Right, I remember that.
But then I kind of realized that I would feel terrified that I have to do brain surgery on people, that my single decision can have huge impact on a person's life throughout their lifespan. And I wasn't sure if I would want to sort of do that, like, continuously, and especially like some surgeries, like it's like more than 10 hours straight.
Right. Oh my gosh. Lots of responsibility.
And also if you pursue like kind of more like surgical area, then I heard that it's like hard to maintain your family life and your work life. And having wonderful family was more important value for me. So that's why I kind of decided later on that maybe I'll pursue PhD.
Right.
Yeah,
Wow,
and
okay.
and go into research because there were several topics that I was really, really interested in.
Okay.
So I did. I worked in a lab for almost 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
But then the life they had, like the routine they had, wasn't really satisfying to me. I had like quite a bit of dissonance between what I thought the research would be versus the reality. Like research is like not only the speed, like I already expected the research, every single project could be slow. But it was like kind of, I felt like I was stuck, but not moving forward. And of course, like in accumulation, I think research is very important and helpful for making other people's life better.
Yeah.
But I felt like I want to have more direct
impact.
Yeah, direct impact with other people, and that wasn't really carved out for me. So and I was like, what should I do? And then that was my kind of undergrad.
Yeah.
And I went to the master's thinking that I always really liked the idea of like doing my own business, or working in a corporate setting. So I went there, but then I did projects and like team and blah blah blah. Presentations and like working with a client, and I was like, am I really enjoying this, or am I doing this because I can do it well? I think there is a difference. And I was like thinking that if I jump into this corporate setting right after graduation, then I would never be able to try creative path anymore, because I'll get older and older and
Stuck in the corporate world.
Yeah, and if you get older, like for example, if I'm already like over 35 or 40 and I want to completely change my career, it would be a really hard decision, like way harder. So yeah, that's kind of like how it went.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. What was going through your mind when you were going through the program?
Well, at first
About like what to do after the program.
At first, I wanted to find which aspect of business that I'm more interested in.
Yeah.
And it was actually marketing research. I really like marketing research. Yeah, because it was like a combination of my science background, so it was easier for me to understand.
Right.
At the same time, it kind of makes the direct impact of how companies can serve their clients better. Like case studies and focus groups and whatnot. But then my husband, Tim, and I had a plan that we really wanted to go back to my home country, Korea, for a little bit before we get too old. So that was kind of our original plan. So I didn't think that I would stay in Canada afterward.
Yeah.
Like I knew that I would come back, but I thought we would go to Asia first.
Right.
So I was kind of like more in chilling in a way that it's not urgent to get a job in Canada. Yeah. So maybe that helped me because I had more open mind of what it can be. Yeah.
So talk to us about what you did after your program.
After a program, I started to like thinking about what kind of art, what kind of crafts, or what kind of fashion I want to pursue, because creative path, like yes, it's one path, but it's like very big.
Broad.
Yeah, like very broad. There are many different like specialization you can have. So I think it's been 1 year since I graduated.
Oh, it has been. Oh my gosh, right.
Yeah, just about 1 year.
Right.
So throughout that time, I've been trying to actually sort of experiment and explore, because at first I had several projects, and some actually I had the prototypes and products all done and ready to go.
Yeah.
But then I was like, oh, if I do this and only do this, then what about all the other things that I always wanted to try in my life? So I thought, like, let's not rush to make decisions, but actually explore and appreciate this time, because I'm like at the beginning of creative journey, and because I don't have design degree, I think it's like I'm very impatient, like because I still have this competitive nature and like, oh, I have to speed up and blah blah blah. But I'm trying to like slow it down and actually figure out and appreciate this opportunity.
Makes sense, because life is not a race. Everyone has their own pace. So it makes sense. So after your degree, right now you're kind of just starting your creative journey and try out different projects that you wanted to do in the past, and then you never really completed, and so you're trying to pick those back up and then see where it leads you.
Exactly.
Nice. That's really good. Very exciting chapter. It's like you don't have the pressure of trying to find a job, because I know a lot of people after their program is straight into the job hunting phase, right? Like endless interviews, endless job applications. So it's kind of refreshing to hear that there's someone like you who's like, you know, trying to stay true to your own creative voice and then get back to what you always wanted to do. So was there like a specific moment or insight or someone you talked to, or something that helped you come up with the decision that you wanted to follow this creative journey that you're on right now?
I think mostly Tim. Because
that's sweet.
Yeah, because I already told, even before we started dating, I told him I'm gonna pursue PhD. And he didn't question that. Like, he already knew, like, I was in neuroscience and stuff. But then after we started dating and we got married, he asked me, like, oh, you have so much interest in, like, art and crafts. Like, why are you still trying to pursue PhD? Like, so he asked me a lot of kind of... Yes, and it's, like, not, like, hurting sharp, but, like, very sharp questions. Like, why am I doing this? Am I doing this for the sake of doing this? Or, like, because everyone expects me to go to this path, even though I'm not even passionate about it? Or
those questions that's hard to answer for you.
Yeah. And also, like, growing up, I always felt the pressure that I need to meet the expectation of the people around me. So it was very kind of eye-opening to me, I guess. And that sort of led me to reflect myself a lot. Like, who am I? Like, what kind of person am I? And what do I like? And what do I don't like? Like, that kind of thing. Which I sort of ignored or, like, avoided to answer for a long time. And then I was thinking, like, lifeline. Like, I actually drew, like, a long line. And then, like, this is my 100th years old year. And then this is, like, 0. And then I started to, like, make the sort of dots on the line. The timeline. Like, okay, from this time and to this time, I was in elementary school. Like, things like that.
It out, the journey.
And then I realized, like, if this is 100 and then this is 0, I'm not even 1/3 yet.
Right. There's still a long way to go.
So I was thinking, like, why am I feeling so rushed? Like, why am I feeling that I would fall behind of my peers if I don't get a job, like corporate job, right away? Is it because it's the right thing to do, or is it because of, like, peer pressure or societal expectations and the expectations that I set for myself? And I just feel like, oh, I'm so old like that. But come to think of it, I'm not old. Like, I'm still young. I still have ways to go. So do I just follow the path set out for me by other people and then regret after, like, 60 years, 70 years? Or, like, having miserable life? Or like I make big decision now and struggle for few years
short pain
to do the groundwork and then I live happily for the next decades. So that was kind of
that was such a good way to put it. Now today later after this podcast, I'm gonna draw a timeline of my own because that's so true. We still have a long way to go, and we each live our own lives. Like nobody should dictate our life, and it's really good that you're looking introspectively, kind of see what you're good at. Because I hear a lot of people say that it's important to figure out what you're good at. It's kind of like the life cheat code. It's 10 times harder if you're trying to pursue something that you're not good at. It's 10 times easier to pursue something that you're really good at, and you know what you're not good at to avoid going down that path. So wow, that's really amazing. I'm gonna try doing that. We truly still have a long way to go. Every single day I'm like, oh my god, I'm getting old, but it's just the society expectation. But each one of us all have different timelines that we should respect. So oh my gosh, I love it.
Thank you. Nice. I hope it's helpful.
No, it's so helpful. So I think that makes sense. Kind of understanding yourself, get to know yourself more, right? So now you figured out that you love arts, but you also have that scientific part of you, and as you said, you really enjoyed marketing research. So how did you think the scientific part of you like supported your art journey? How is it supporting you?
This is kind of the question I've been struggling a lot because as an international student, I put so much like time and investment for a degree.
Education.
Yeah. So it always made me feel guilty that if I don't pursue science degree, I'm wasting it. But I think there will be intersection in the future, but in the general sense, in this kind of world, that science looks so different than art. Like it's kind of like many people think they're the opposite. So I'm still figuring it out. But one thing that kind of helped me was I paused it, but in my undergrad year, I started writing a novel.
So cool.
About very interesting neuro sort of, I don't want to say disease, but like neuro-related disability.
Neurodiverse kind of.
Not many people know this. It's called prosopagnosia, which is face blindness in plain English, and actually 2 to 5% of the population have it, and it's not super rare. And I was like really interested in it because I'm really personally good at face recognition. So I was like, what did it feel like to not be able to recognize your friends' faces, your spouse's face, and like just people's faces in general, and like how can I help people? And that's why I did the lab in that path as well, although I couldn't have the specific project. So that novel was kind of all about like, yes, I was doing in literature form, but I'm trying to incorporate the sort of science like case study / journal article format combined with traditional literature format, like fiction format. So
cool.
I think
That's really cool.
Understanding that like the neurodisability, the struggles and whatnot, like that helped me, like my science degree helped me because I had to read journal articles and stuff. And I'm like, I want to know more about it and then resume the writing part again. And I was writing it both in Korean and English, and it was mentally challenging.
That's challenging for sure, writing in 2 languages. So
that was on pause, but I think maybe that was sort of the only application but I'm very grateful for it.
Yeah.
And for other stuff, I don't know if I do certain things like subconsciously, scientifically or not. But right now, like I'm just thinking that maybe it would emerge in the future.
Yeah, it could be like scientific method of how you do your art creative research too, right?
Yeah.
Maybe the way you do research follows a certain scientific way.
Yeah.
Maybe you have a hypothesis and you have your creative things and then you
Yeah.
trial and test A/B test different things.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are more than one intersection.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but for now, like I try not to think about it too much because when I tried to think about it too much, I felt very limited.
Stuck.
Yeah, like only thinking about how can I like merge these two, like
Yeah, makes sense.
yeah. So right, I'm thinking that even if it doesn't emerge in the future, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I learned a lot and I appreciated it, and that's it. And now I'm on different path. And I think there are so many people who don't have the connection, like direct connection between their undergrad major and their final job.
Yeah, there's so many people doing different things, yeah.
So I'm kind of trying to think it very flexibly.
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Yeah, just trying out everything I want to do. And we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, makes sense. And a lot of times is you do it and then you look back and then you'll find certain patterns and you'll realize, oh, this is how I do things.
Yeah.
And in the future I can adapt.
Yeah.
Nice. So it's also kind of like art and science, two completely different things. And then we always talk about introvert and extrovert.
Yeah.
And Suna, you're an ambivert.
Yes.
Do you want to explain the ambivert part for those who don't know?
So ambivert is like literally half introverted and half extroverted. Like when I do the personality test, like sometimes it's extroverted, sometimes it's introverted. I think especially when I was younger, it was almost always introverted. But as I grew up, I became more extroverted. Although I still have both sides. So yeah.
So what is it like being an ambivert? Is it like in the social you enjoy being in the social setting because from my understanding, extrovert is you gain energy from hanging out with people, absorbing others' energy. And then the introverted side is when you feel recharged when you're spending time alone.
Yeah.
So how do you find that balance?
How do you feel though? Because I want to know how you feel.
So I think I'm kind of like an extroverted introvert. Over the times I started to realize. I don't know if that's the same definition of ambivert.
Yeah.
But I gain energy by being with myself. But I feel a lot of the times when I'm surrounded by other people, it's energy draining. So after I hang out with others, I will need to recharge. With the people that I care about, that I like hanging out with, I gain energy from them. But afterwards, I still need to recharge. So that's kind of my definition of extroverted introvert.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
How about you?
For me, I think currently my work is more introverted side. For example, when I think of new ideas and new inspiration, I prefer working alone and more like a quiet setting so that I can focus and just branch out the brainstorming process. And I actually listed it out and I'm forgetting, so I'll look at the cheat sheet.
As you look for the cheat sheet, and then another part of me, like being extrovert, introvert, is when I was still doing my corporate job, I had to do a lot of meetings, and sometimes with external vendors, people who I'm not closely working with. It's so tiring for me. It's like I always fake it till I make it. Like before the meeting, I've gotten a lot better nowadays, but when I first started, I would have to mentally prepare myself for those meetings. And because I don't want to do anything wrong or I feel a certain imposter syndrome. So I always have to mentally prepare, and then I fake the extrovertedness kind of like into those meetings, and after the meeting I had to like reach out, be like, okay, I did a good job. But nowadays I've gotten a lot better, but I think at the core I'm still an introvert.
Interesting.
Did you find your teaching?
Yeah, I did. So yeah, branching out. Oh, and I really like going for a walk.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I really like going for
By
a
yourself
walk.
or
Yeah.
with others?
Sometimes with others, but mostly just me alone or with Tim.
Yeah.
And just like thinking about what I'm doing, kind of more reflective, and that untangles a lot of thoughts.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I like the way you put it, yeah.
Yeah, and I told you before that I try to use the transit time as well to untangle my thought as well. What I'm doing, for example, on the way here, I was thinking like kind of remind myself like all the outline back, and also like hoping that it could be really helpful for you and for other people who listen to this.
I want to point it out, like transiting, because Suna these days she really likes transiting. It gives time and space to think.
Yeah.
For me, because I was always like, oh, I don't like transit. There's so many people, and it's like driving so much faster. But now I think about it, Suna is actually taking her time very efficiently. You're not just wasting time on transit, but you're actually utilizing the time to the fullest and organize your thoughts, and then have some deep thoughts going on. And for me, it was just like, whenever I go on trend, I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just listening to music, kind of passing time. So I really love how the way you're embracing your transit moments.
Thank you. And I also listen to podcasts sometimes. Like there are several like art related or book podcasts or audiobook, then I will listen to it.
Great. So great use of time for sure.
Yeah. And the other part is that I think, I don't know if this one counts as introverted or extroverted, because this is the last point of introverted I put. Every day, like, I chat a lot with Tim, but like kind of only with Tim. Like there are certain things, like if I have to untangle it myself, but it's not working very well, I talk to him. But I think I prefer talking to him alone, like just me and him. Yeah. So maybe that's more introverted side, because I feel like if I share this kind of thing too much with other people, I'm gonna burden my friends.
But Tim is like your safe space, and you're one unit, so it's not really like extra like outside people.
Yeah, and it's sometimes like I feel like if I want to talk about certain things with other people, I have to explain a lot of the background first. But Tim knows everything, so I feel that I can reserve my energy and at the same time resolve things.
Right.
So that's my introverted side, and the extroverted side is that I do gain energies from social interactions. So for example, when I was living in Burnaby for 2 months last year, I found a knitting club online, and then they meet at community centers and libraries. So I would go there and like just knit with people. And I was really energized that there are many people who like to do crafts and will share some new techniques or like skills they have, or recommending new yarns and stuff. The other thing I do is that I plan meetups a lot with friends. Yes.
And I really appreciate that, because I myself do not plan meetups.
That's good.
Yeah.
So we've been meeting like almost every week. We do exercise together. We just do like hangouts together. We went to Tulip Festival together, and we went to Granville Island together.
Romantic.
Yes, and stuff like that. And I also like small group sports setting too. Like so we have the friend group, and like Tim is kind of like that too. Like he's introverted, but I guess I'm a little more extroverted. But he's introverted, but he likes sports and he likes to hang out with people. Still, so and I think after I hang out with friends, I'm like so hyped. When I like after that, like I'm like bouncing. I'm like, I'm so happy and stuff. So I think that's definitely extroverted side. And also sometimes I try to go to like art related stores, like craft stores and stuff, and I talk to the staff.
Wow, that's really
like
cute.
very actively, because I want to know more about them, and I want to know more about what they're selling and how to utilize them well and stuff like that. And I'm hoping that for more like a side projects that I'm working on and stuff, like in the future, I would really like to collaborate with other people.
That's a great way to build that relationship.
Yeah, like it would be fun to work with other people in art and crafts as well.
Right.
So yeah.
That's so great. I love it.
Yeah.
There's so many, even though we're already pretty close, but I'm still learning new things about you, because for me, I'm like totally different with like visiting stores. I have the want, like I want to learn more, but I just don't have the courage to speak with them. That's something I think I can work on over the times. But I definitely admire someone like you who can just speak up to the owner or like just start a conversation about it. I think a part of me wanting to start this podcast is I feel comfortable definitely communicating with people who I'm close with, but I do want to invite a variety of different guests to my podcast too, so it kind of like trains me into speaking with people who I'm not super close with.
That's nice. You're going out of your comfort zone.
You
It's very good.
always be too comfortable, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, and one more thing. I actually really like living in shared house because of my extroverted side. Because
makes sense,
my current work is just me alone.
Yeah.
So mostly I will spend time at home.
Right.
But because I live in shared house, for example, the Taiwanese girl like I met and other people, 2 Brazilian guys who became friends with him, and they invited us like, oh, if you could come to Brazil, you stay with us. You can stay with us. And like when my Taiwanese friend went back, she was like, oh, I will give you like full tour in Taiwan and stuff.
Nice.
So I think that's my extroverted side too. Like I really like meeting new people in a way that I wouldn't meet them otherwise.
Yeah, that's a great way. Now that you have so many friends from different places, and then if you visit one of those places, you have that connection there that you can trust. So that's great. Yeah, and I can really see how you're like kind of like embrace both of your introverted and extroverted side of you, and it makes the perfect Suna. So thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
And so I think we talked a lot about reflecting kind of your path, how you became who you are, and how you kind of navigate your world with ambivertness. So right now, let's play a little game of name your own flavor, since the mango slush is kind of how I view you from an outsider perspective, but now we want to get a flavor of insider perspective of who you think Suna really is. So do you have a little what would be in your bubble tea? What flavor would it be? And then do you want to share?
So I actually wrote every single detail down.
Nice.
So
I'm gonna wait. Because I sent an outline to my guests before they come out to the show so that they have time enough to kind of also reflect. Because one thing I hate is to put people on the spot. So I'm glad you come up with like specific things that you want to share. So.
So I did mango and nectarine because I've never seen this combination. So I was thinking like, what would it taste like? I think it would be good because it's like a little bit of citrus and mango.
Fruity.
So mango and nectarine as the main base, and maybe a little bit of like extra tropical fruits added. And
what kind of tropical fruits are you thinking?
I like pineapples and like very fresh, like refreshing, maybe dragon fruit and stuff. And I want to have glass jelly, but like sphere shape.
Okay.
Because it's like taro shape, but like glass jelly.
Okay.
So I feel like first why I chose nectarine as one of my base. Like mango is like it always tastes good. But like for nectarine, it always feels and tastes like it's never fully ripened in a way. Like that's how I taste it because I like the tinge of sourness. Yeah, and I really like the a little bit hard texture too.
Yeah,
like when
like
it's
crunchy.
not not too like mushy. Yeah, and I think that's like similar image of myself right now. Yeah, because I'm still on the progress of like ripening myself in this creative journey, but I do like and appreciate this sourness period. Yeah.
Oh, I love that metaphor.
Yeah. And because I think it's also unique.
Yes.
In a way.
I've never heard of that combination.
Yeah.
So definitely unique.
Yeah. And also, I really like tropical flavors in general.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like how you describe me, that I have diverse interests.
Yes.
Yeah, and diverse, many possibilities now and future. So I really dearly hope that my diverse interests will be a blessing for in the future. Not like a limitation. Yeah, because some of the comments that I heard growing up was that, oh, you are good at many things and you are interested in many things, and that's bad for you. Like someone even told me it's a curse. But I really want this to be blessing, because I think it's also very unique, and I reconcile with myself that no one is the same in the world. No. So like, why would you expect everyone must have one strength and one interest, right? So that
this is your strength, right? Having multiple interests, and you're so good at so many different things.
I really hope so. Yeah. And why I said glass jelly but in sphere shape, that kind of reminds you of like, there's like a tiny glass balls, like this small. Like I used to play with my friends in elementary school. Yeah, and because it's like glass and a little bit of like color inside.
Oh, is it like the different colors, and then you do the pick, and then
yeah, that kind of thing. And we had it like as a glass thing, and kids love to collect those things. And one of the vivid image I have is that whenever light hits each of the balls, it reflects, and it makes like really beautiful sort of scene of like light, like full of light, and like all different trajectory. So that's something that I'm really looking forward for my creative journey. So
wow, I really like it. And I think it symbolizes you very well too, and it's on your way of maturing, and then these are all the creative elements that you want to have. Maybe one day we'll try that recipe and see how it goes. Not sure if we can achieve the saphir jelly one, but we can definitely try the mango and nectarine combo and see how it tastes. And if it actually tastes like Suna.
Yes.
Nice. I really like it. Awesome. So I think we're coming to an end in our episode. But do you have anything that you'd like to share with the ones who are listening or viewing, who may be lost in their career and not sure if they're going the right direction?
Yeah, definitely. I'm trying to, I wrote a lot, so I'm trying to figure out how to sort of combine.
No, you don't need to combine. You can feel free to share everything. And as you're going through again, I want to express that I really appreciate Suna put so much effort into brainstorming what you want to share, because that's another thing I really appreciate you about is you always put so much attention and care into everything you do. It's a really hard thing to do. Some people are just like, oh, if I'm invited to this podcast, I'll just show up and answer questions. But you actually think through the answers you want to provide that will actually be helpful to others. So it's really a great quality of yours.
Thank you. So I found 2 chunks. So I'm going to little bit read it off because there are certain points that I
listen
wrote.
up. This is Suna's wisdom.
So, I think first of all, I kind of want to share more of the why and my philosophy in pursuing this path. So I believe anyone can do a work, like especially for the sake of settling down or like, you know, one's own success. Like, oh, I want to be recognized by people and like I want to make more income, and there could be many different reasons. But I believe each profession, no matter what that is, has so much potential to do good for other people and for the world, to make the world better. Like, for example, in marketing, I think there are two different views you can have. Like, one is like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make so much money having this. Or one of the things that my first year business professor said really struck me, because she said she was in marketing industry for a long time, and her view in marketing was like, I want to connect people and companies so that they would be helped by each other. Like companies, because people may not know these companies exist, that they provide goods and services that these people need. So I want to be this connecting bridge, and I want to use marketing to serve others. And that really struck me hard. And like, even not beyond just like business settings, like traditional marketing or finance, like every single profession has so much potential. So I think thinking about it is so much, put so much more meaning into your work, because I actually fell into that trap very early in my creative path. For example, when I made several like expendable cards that are quite unique, and I was ready, like, and I was thinking I'm gonna scale it, because that's what I learned in business.
Yeah, scale it.
So I already planned everything. Like, I already had things, and like once I get orders, like I just need to like stream it, and that's
the process operation.
Yeah. I even like calculated everything, like down to the details, like what's the cost, like what's the labor cost, like blah blah blah. But then it struck me really hard, like, why am I doing this again? Like, why am I in creative path? Because I wanted to help people with my art and craft, with my ideas. I want to change the world, to make the world a better place. But what am I doing now? It's literally me trying to make more money and settle down with one product. And that's not the kind of life or legacy I want to leave behind. So yeah, like, I know it's may sound like contradictory to what society says, but I still do believe there is a potential that we can, like, it follows. Like, if you are so passionate about things, and if you do it with the good intention of helping other people while enjoying your work, then like everything like it will follow. True. Right? But if you follow this, then this one doesn't come. Like, it doesn't work vice versa, right? So that part. So I sort of came up with a set of questions.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of like, I guess, if you visualize it, it's like decision tree kind of thing.
Yeah.
So my first question, like, this is kind of like my questions and suggestions.
Okay.
So to listeners who might feel a little lost or unsure in their journey, my first question is, think about why you're unsure. Finding the roots of your concerns could be helpful to figure it out. So first sub question is that because you hate your current job, you're dissatisfied with your current job, and you want to escape? Then why do you not like it? Is it because you couldn't find purpose in it, or is it just because it's not something that you are passionate about, but you just kind of drag yourself along? And what is your approach to your job? Like, what comes first to you? Is it this one or that one? And if it's the case that you haven't found true passion in you, and therefore you're a little unsure, then how do you think you can find your true passion? Like, is it reflecting yourself a lot, or trying many different things that you never tried it before? And what kind of things have you tried, and what kind of things that you haven't? Is it because of the fear, or lack of opportunities and blah blah blah. So like in reflecting in that path. And third question is, are you unsure because maybe like similar to me, that you know what you want, but this is not what the world says, like in the peer pressure. What are the expectations? Think about the long shot, like what kind of life you want to have. Is it truly worth it to grind yourself to do things that you don't like, how I did before? And because remember, like, I know, like, this is something that maybe I want listeners to understand, that hard times will come, especially from outside, like especially if you choose creative path. Like many people will question your choices and the decisions you make. Still, I have friends, I don't talk to them very often anymore, but there are friends like who literally pushes me to go to PhD. Still,
That's
although I explain everything why I'm doing this, and that hurts, and like that still impacts me. So it will come, but you have to remember that most people in the end, they are already very occupied with their own life. They are trying to figure out their own lives. So you don't have to feel like too caught off about in that thought, because I question my choices a lot after each friend asked me, like, but now after I went through it, I feel like my foundation became a bit stronger, and I'm having more conviction in my path. So it will come. And what are your values in your life? Do you really want this happiness, or like, are you trying to like settle down, or is that the questions that you have, and therefore you're unsure of pursuing new path or a different path? And if you already found your passion and purposes and everything, then why and how and through what? Like, this is what I learned from that professor, like 3 golden rules or something, that it always starts with why. And if your why is solidified, then how, and then what. For example, like I'm working on the Korea guidebook, and like why started with, I want to help people who don't know Korean, but I know both Korean and English, so I want to provide more information how to travel Seoul safely and more effectively and whatnot. How? Then I was like, I will like make guidebooks and other resources to aid them, and like introducing things in detail rather than just like this place, that place, this place is good, like that. And what, like, okay, then in order to make it easier to see it while you're traveling, I'm gonna make it into PDF and stuff like that. So like that thought process really helped me to think about stuff.
That's
and
really helpful.
And how you can help others and make the world a better place, and what can you do starting right now. Because I think one of the mistakes I made in the earlier stage was like, I had so many ideas here, but I didn't have the right accumulation of skill set or resources then. So I was kind of suffering between this dissonance. But after that, I started like, okay, let's start what I can do right now. And I feel so much better. And I know if I continue this way, then maybe like there will be more opportunities to come, and it will be higher chance of achieving all those things that I'm dreaming about. And also, what are the safety net for you? I think that's really also important.
That's what builds your foundation.
Yeah, because it's it's challenging path because it's not traditional, and therefore I think having safety net around you is very important. Like for me, I have Tim and I have you, like whom I can talk to about the struggles, and also sharing new ideas, because it's always so exciting to share your ideas, and have people who are like so happy to hear that. So I think that fuels me even when I'm like, oh, like I don't know, and like that fuels me to like go back up. So yeah, I think that's it.
Gosh, wonderful. I really love it.
Yeah, I hope it's helpful.
It's really helpful, and it's so helpful for me. Those questions, sent me the questions. I'm gonna answer them myself after this.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my, I really like it. And safety nets is so important,
Yeah.
because a lot of the times, people, as you mentioned, people care about a lot about their own lives. They're already so busy, and then they already have certain ideas, and then if you share some idea that's super exciting to you but may not be exciting for them, and then you might hear some negative feedback, and then that will really like put you down. And so that's when it's important to have the safety net to always cheer you on. Great. Thank you for sharing.
No problem.
So that is today's episode. Take what resonates, leave the rest. And thanks for being here. If you enjoyed this conversation, feel free to share with a friend who you think this podcast may be helpful to them. And you can follow on True Podcast for more updates and episodes. And huge thank you to Suna for sharing your story. And it's such a pleasure to be here with you spending your important time here with me. I'm very glad. And do you have like a certain social handle that you want people to follow? Do you want to promote, or up to you?
Well, I started a YouTube channel, but it's on pause because I'm evaluating the groundwork, and I thinking later this year I will launch my own website.
Ooh, that's exciting.
It's gonna be more about my creative things and products. So
when that comes around,
I'll let you know.
let us know, and then we'll make sure to support it. Excited for the new website. So, okay, perfect. So this is Suna. I'm Rachel, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you for listening. Bye.